everyone, my name is Eddie Mora with the Sonoma Stompers, and today we're going to be talking with President from 3 Badge Beverage Corp, Augusta Sebastiani, who's going to give us an insight and history on 3 Badge Beverage Corp. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We're here with President Augusta Sebastiani with 3 Badge Beverage Corp. And really just having a conversation just of the history of 3 Badge, and you know, I know there's a lot of family history here,
right?
Just with your family itself and building this,
right?
But just really giving all of our fans and everybody who follows us, you know, businesses like this is what allows us to stick around and really provide a service to everybody. So would love to hear the history on yourself and 3 Badge.
Appreciate that. Thank you for having me. My family's got a long storied history in Sonoma, obviously very deep roots. 4th generation, myself, my great-grandfather came, and actually came from very humble beginnings. He was a stonemason by trade, and was mining rocks, actually in the hills just north of Sonoma, and was, you know, just kind of doing what he could to get by, and like the American dream, you know, set aside a little bit of money, and when that little bit of money became enough to buy a little piece of dirt, he did so, and a bigger piece of dirt, and a bigger piece of dirt, and was a winemaker more out of necessity than anything else, because he didn't really run down to the grocery store and, you know, load up on a, you know, Sauvignon Blanc run or whatever it was. And so as he was building the wine business, it was actually just one small part of a very diverse entity. You know, there was obviously residential housing and commercial housing, and ultimately a theater, and you know, a number of different businesses in and around Sonoma. And you know, here I stand, a century removed from that, literally, in awe of what he was able to do. You know, kind of just living the American dream and building a business that he could pass to his kid, that he then could pass to his kid, that he then could pass to his kid.
Right.
You know, and so the recipe for Augusta Bus was concocted in my buddy's garage over in Petaluma, gosh, maybe 8 years ago now, maybe 9 years ago. And so when the Stompers came and said, hey, we, you know, want to work on a partnership, it was the perfect connection, because as I mentioned, it's all about local, it's all about community, it's Sonoma, family, and our connection to the Stompers, it was a home run or a slam dunk, or pick a metaphor, right? Home run's probably better as we talk about baseball,
right,
but
baseball.
Right, exactly right. 3 Badge Beverage is, you know, the kind of the continuation of the family history, and it's a little bit of a pivot because we came from wine, but there is history in the spirit space, and so as we focus on wine, on beer, and on spirits, you've got kind of 3 legs to that tripod in the adult beverage space. And what happened was, actually, when we bought our current building, which is the old firehouse where we are presently, as you come up Broadway, you'll see us. We're right across the street from Williams Sonoma and Pete's Coffee. But when we bought the building, we did a little bit of research and found that my grandfather actually was a volunteer firefighter in this exact building when it was first built. So you really talk about that intimacy, right? And the community connection, family connection, the philanthropic connection, right? He's a volunteer firefighter. And shared that with my dad and my aunt and my uncle, and you know, the family obviously got a kick out of it to learn some of the detail. And my aunt actually shared with me that she's got his 3 service badges. An active badge that lived in his wallet for 30 years, and it's gorgeous. It's bronzed and, you know, patinaed and weathered. It lived in his wallet for so long. And a retired badge, and then an honorary badge that was given to my grandmother when he passed away. And so when you look at like those 3 badges as kind of the tangible connection of my family and this building, which is so much of who we are. You know, so here we are now at 3 Badge Beverage, which is a little bit of a pivot from our family historically. That, you know, obviously my grandfather kind of focused the business on the agricultural side of wine. My dad focused the business then on marketing and kind of the front of the shop, as it were, the retail oriented and pricing, and you know, in that realm. And my generation now focusing on really growing brands specifically. But the one that we're actually maybe most proud of is Augusta Bus and our IPA. and its connection to the Sonoma Stompers, because there is really a hyper-local focus to the brand, but also from a family perspective, it's named for my 9-year-old son. So, it's obviously near and dear to our heart. It's a fun effort.
The big piece with Augusta Bus, that the big focus there at the stadium is our Augusta Bus beer garden. For those of the fans that don't know, really what the naming rights for Augusta Bus and really what it represents, and just in that section alone is where we have most of our families, birthdays, corporate events. Everybody really focuses to have a large part of our family connection there.
Sure.
Where we're playing cornhole, which we have nice Augusta Bus specially designed cornhole boards where they're playing games. Hopefully they're not throwing the beanbags at each other.
There's a little bit of that, but what are you going to do?
Right, but the big part of it is that everybody's having a good time watching baseball. I think one thing definitely that the Stompers do very well is that we're able to have more of an intimate connection here with our community and with people who travel around the world and within our country to come see us.
Well, that's a special part of what we love about our sponsorship. And, we get it. We're a for-profit business. You're a for-profit business. But there almost is a philanthropical angle to participating in, as a father of young and maybe a little bit less young children these days, it's wonderful to have the Stompers in town because it provides you with an exciting opportunity for the kids to go and see baseball, for dad to be actually, no disrespect by saying this, to be thoroughly impressed with the level of play. You say, oh gosh, well, it's the equivalent of high A ball. What does it look like? I've seen some pretty awful youth baseball. I played some pretty awful youth baseball on that diamond. So it's nice to see crisp curveballs and double plays and home runs and guys who know what they're doing playing the game on that field under the lights and whatever else. In an affordable evening for my wife and my kids to be able to go out and feed all 6 of us and have a cool experience in the Augusta Bus Beer Garden, sitting there on down the third base line, a place where, again, generationally speaking, I was 9 years old watching baseball there as well. So it's generationally, it's a cool connection for my family. But talk about the community at large. It's a wonderful component. It's a great time out. It's a great evening with the family, and we're happy to be a part of it in whatever way we can.
Great, and we definitely do appreciate it. The other nice piece to this all is that last year we've had, I think in counting, today we had some new news on a promotion with one of our players, but before today we had 13 players promoted.
No kidding.
We had 3 players go to the minor league baseball.
Sure.
Then we had the rest of the 10 go to the other 3 higher leagues.
Yeah.
And so just all the way around, just from the support with the community, from our players being promoted, it's unheard of, really. I think on average, maybe you get 2 or 3 players promoted.
Sure.
And here we are talking 13, 14 players promoted now. So definitely, just everything as a whole is really hitting off.
That's a very impressive thing to hear. So many guys being promoted to higher levels, and I got to say, some of it's not surprising. As you follow via social media and elsewhere, that is literally an international effort, recruiting players to come to Sonoma to play for the Stompers, see the Pacific Association flourish, to play with a rival team like Vallejo, almost like the Giants and the Dodgers, swapping elbows, or maybe a more aggressive slide into second base than might have otherwise been. But it's a ton of fun to kind of have that community pride as you go around the other teams in Northern California and have some fun with the competition there.
Yeah, definitely. And all of our teams we're all within a 40 mile range. So what's nice is within this community league is that you build these rivalries, even in Napa, with the Napa Silverados.
Sure.
And you see the amount of pride people have even in Napa, California, and they're coming here to Sonoma because it's I think there's always been some sort of just rivalry with Napa, Sonoma, and then having the sports, with it. There's a lot of pride with baseball and in these 2 communities. So, these are the type of things I think that are just that add to, just our little bit of happiness, within what's going on.
And I hate to sound, too, I hate to have this conversation become too dated, but in a difficult time like we're faced with this virus that's out there, so long as it can be done in a safe way, in a healthy way, the excitement of the potential for maybe baseball to come back here in the coming months, maybe not, but at least optimistically, seeing that, Rob Manfred and the MLBs seemingly can't really get out of their own way in order to get a product back on the field. But selfishly in Sonoma, we're the Stompers and the Pacific Association able to figure out a way to do it safely, do it smartly, how much more valuable that would be to give us something exciting to do on a Friday night or even a Tuesday night, to head down to Arnold Field and hang out under the lights. It would be really, really special.
So really, from the Sonoma Stompers, our ownership and our team, we want to thank you and 3Badge for continuing support to help us, providing a service and that philanthropic piece to the rest of the community here. And we really look forward to having a season this year if everything goes as planned.
Right, hopefully sooner than later, right?
And if not, we will be here for 2021.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for watching. It's been great to be a part of it, and go Stompers.
That's right.